Through the different generations, art has influenced culture in many different ways. Art did not develop suddenly out of nowhere. All art exists. The popularity of a type of art is essentially on a roller coaster. It may be popular one minute, but not the next. The types of art that were popular during the 1960s, 70s, and 90s reflected what was going on during the time period.
During the 1970s, some of the main issues going on were discrimination against not only blacks but women and other non-white races. There was also an ever-growing pro-women movement that embraced ideas such as men were not the only artistic genius. Marina Abramovic focused a lot on empowering the body image through a new type of installation art that was growing more popular. Postmodern art embraced many of the similar ideas of installation art as well. Along with Marina Abramovic, Cindy Sherman worked towards empowering the women's body image too. What impact did Marina and Cindy have through their work?
Well, ironically enough, I didn't even know about Abramovic, which I think is how you say her name, until like a couple of years ago, thanks to the internet. Abramovic did a lot of what we call performance art, and her performances included a lot of nudity and a lot of what people considered then and even now to be pretty shocking imagery, and actually, face to face, you have to walk by a naked person kind of stuff. You know how they say to get people to change their mind, if you want them, if you're at point C and they're at point A and you want to get them to point, or you're at point B, they're at point A, you want to get them to your point, you kind of go off into point C, even though you don't really think that's where everything should be. You do the most extreme thing to kind of nudge over popular opinion or nudge over, that's why there's protests. That's why people do such extreme things to get their point across, because if you just kind of say, well, we should meet somewhere in the middle, it's not going to take someone over there. And sometimes artists do that. They go to an extreme place to kind of move the conversation. I think that goes on all the time, and it's been going on in art forever, where artists respond to the political or social environment, and artists feel the need to be part of that conversation and to even change things up. And art is a vehicle for social change. It's been going on forever.
A major issue during the 1960s, beyond the civil rights movement and our involvement in Vietnam, was a phenomenon dubbed youth culture. This youth culture was mainly centered on rejecting the older generation's way of life. This is apparent in their art. Minimalism was, unlike art movements previous, not a reflection of the self, in other words, had no connotation on how the artist felt in the moment. It was simply color arranged on a page. Minimalism would go on to influence future movements like postmodern art. Another facet of the 1960s is the famous pop art movement. The pop art movement aimed to blur boundaries between high and low quality art. It also searched for trauma in media by embracing post-World War II manufacturing and media boom. It was also heavily commercial art, like Andy Warhol's famous Campbell soup cans.
During the 1990s, the American economy and sense of national pride were at a record high. Hip-hop was the leading musical preference for youth, as well as the provocative and alluring Seattle grunge scene. Young people of the 1990s found modes of self-expression through fashion, music, and art. Technology was advancing rapidly, changing the world forever. Digital art is the incorporation of digital media with traditional media, evolving into computer art like that of today. This was becoming increasingly popular in the 1990s because computers had become more accessible to everyone. Performance art came into being in the 1960s and gradually gained popularity into the 1990s. This type of art involved a performance for a live audience, which was usually rehearsed, but sometimes was spontaneous depending on the artist's desire for the piece. The general themes of this art style were the limits of the physical body as well as the mind, love, pain, and human relationships. Marina Abramovic, who produced famous performance art for 30 years, created Cleaning the Mirror in 1995. In this piece, the artist is depicted on several screens scrubbing a filthy skeleton clean for several hours until the dirt from the skeleton is transferred onto her. The piece was meant to reflect death rituals as well as loss. Lastly, during the 1990s, there was a shift in perspective towards urban artwork. Graffiti, as many would call it, began to be viewed as an art form instead of vandalism. This art style was later labeled street art. Much of this street art occurred in cities without permission and was usually created to make a political or social statement. Street art not only involved spray paint, but also stenciling, installation sculptures, and wheat-pasted poster art.
Why do you lock yourself up in these chains?